Ilui Nishmat Binyamin Ben Moshe, sponsored by Michael Pulad. Continued sponsorship, please contact Rabbi Babayev. The Minha B'ezrat Hashem is going to be 4:45. Please be on time. 4:45 is Minha. As we were discussing the halachot, we said that even though the Chachamim, they prohibited doing refuah on Shabbat for somebody who's not holeh she'en bo sakana, who's not in the category of being sick, just has some sort of ailment. He cannot do medicine on Shabbat, even medicine that is technically permitted otherwise, the Chachamim prohibited. We said the exception is something that is ma'achal beri'im, which means that it's something that a healthy person would have. For example, one of the things we mentioned is someone who has a cold, he wants to drink orange juice. Orange juice is not considered a medicine. People that are healthy drink orange juice. So yes, it's true, he's having it only because he wants vitamin C. But nevertheless, that's not called refuah. It's allowed to be done on Shabbat. Or if someone has a sore throat and he wants to drink milk with honey, it would be mutar, because milk and honey is something anybody would drink. So it's ma'achal birim, it's permitted. Chacham Ovadia discusses what happens if he doesn't have honey and he needs to get it, maybe from a friend's house or from some other location. He needs to get it. And it's not a city. Let's say we, Baruch Hashem, we live in a city where there's a eruv, where you could go yourself and you could bring it. But let's say it's a city where there's no eruv, which means you're not allowed to carry even one step outside your house. You're not allowed to carry in a city where there's no eruv, assuming it's not gated. So in that case, would he be allowed to either get it himself or perhaps tell a goy? Says Chacham Ovadia, he can't do it himself because you're carrying on Shabbat, and it's not considered a situation that's enough, that warrants enough to carry, but you're allowed to tell a goy to carry, even though the goy will now be carrying through Reshut HaRabim, which means that for a Jew to do it would be a Torah violation. So to tell a goy, we say, is always Amira le goy shevut, is a rabbinic violation. Says Chacham Ovadia, it's actually a double derabanan. It's more light. Why? Because for a person to carry from one private domain to another private domain through Reshut HaRabim without stopping, if you go continuously without stopping, it's only derabanan. And to tell a goy is a second derabanan, meaning it's a double derabanan for the sake of a person who has an ailment, even though he's not holeh. He has an ailment, shivut de shivut, b'makom holi is permitted. And therefore, you're telling the goy to bring it from his house to your house. The goy might stop, but that's not what I told him to do. I told him to bring it directly. And therefore, what you're saying for him to do is actually a double derabanan, which means that it is permitted for you to tell him. If he is to stop in the middle, that's like him deciding to turn on a light in the middle. It has nothing to do with me and what I told him to do. That's his own cheshbonot, his own calculations. And therefore, you would be permitted to tell him, even though he has to cross through a Reshut HaRabim. But for you to do it, even without stopping, would not be allowed, because it's a isur derabanan for a Jew to bring it, and it's not considered to be not life-threatening, and not even in a case of, it's not even holi. It's what's called in halacha miktzat holi. It's a little bit of an ailment, and therefore to tell a goy to do it, since he's doing a double derabanan, would be permitted, but for you yourself to do it would not be allowed. Baruch Adonai le'olam.